Hello, Internet! I'm TychoCelchuuu, and welcome to Company Heroes 2 shoutcast between two players in Company Heroes 2. Yes, 2 players, not 4 players or 6 players. People sometimes ask me, Tycho, will you cast a 2v2 or a 3v3? And my answer is no. Go chop your hand off. Anyways, so we're on Sturmpioneer Winter, which is a map, and we've got Hoi Pollad from the previous match playing as Soviets. And we've got another player, Jett, some new blood since I last was casting CoH2. One of the big up-and-coming players, one of the pros in the scene. These are both extremely good players. This is currently the top auto match, ranked match being played. We have a Kubowagen coming out, sort of staying outside the borders of the map for a while because it's a rebel without a cause, and they're ready to go to town. And did I say Jett was playing as the OKW? I don't think I did, so I bet you had no idea. Let's check out the bulletins. Folks Grenadiers, Sturmpioneer medical ability costs 7% less. Is that a troll pick? Is that a real pick? Will we ever know? Can we ask Jett? I'm not Steam friends because Jett is one of those quick upcoming people, so I don't know Jett at all, really. But we have some quick sandbags, some interesting choices here. Normally you have no cover. In fact, you mostly have red cover in this area. And so a good little tip you can pick up from Hoi Pollad, just have your conscripts or whatever set up a little sandbag there when they're capping. And it could pay off. That may have kept them quite safe from these Sturmpioneers in a situation where otherwise Jett may have charged the point, tried to get the cutoff real quick, chop off the Hoi Pollad, go for the old Sturmpioneer squeeze. I don't think that's what it's called. It was called something else. But could have gone for that, but that didn't happen. Anyways, we had the sandbags, and it looks like we're potentially retreating to the sandbags. I don't know. A lot of crazy tactical positioning going on between these Sturmpioneers and 2 conscripts. 2 conscript squads can basically handle a Sturmpioneer, but it's touch and go. And when one of them's at half health like this, it's even touchier go-ier, and so both players not wanting to commit too crazily to that fight, but also not wanting to give up the fight. The OKW player trying to get as much as he could out of that fight, the Russian player trying to get as much as he could out of the fight. I feel like this game keeps like minutely pausing every once in a while. Maybe the map is to blame. But this is an interesting fight for these conscripts to get into. They're definitely not going to kill the Kubowagen, they know that for sure. I guess they're just sticking around to capture the point, because frankly when you're this low health already, you're going to start losing models, you're going to start having to retreat, and your opponent's not giving up anything with this Kubowagen. If they just repair it, all that costs is time, basically, with the Sturmpioneers. Doesn't even have to be a lot of time if you can do double duty while you're capping a point or something and repair the thing. And a bit of manpower. Your manpower income does go down when you're repairing. Little known fact. That's how it works in real life. That's how it works in Company Heroes 2. And we have a clown car all set to go with a conscript squad. Kind of an interesting choice. You don't always see it. Wait, it's not the obviously it's not the conscript squad. It's the engineers. A much more common choice in the clown car this early. If you're not going to load them up with a penal squad with flamethrowers or anything like that, you stick the engineers in it. You drive around. You repair yourself. You get a little extra damage from the engineers in the back. But that's a pretty good choice on a map like this where you want some mobility because it's such a big sweeping map. Trying to push these people out of cover. It seems like with the Kubo pathing, that's a cool little trick. People have been complaining about that since the original Company Heroes. I think it's great. I think it's a cool little exploit. Not exploit in the sense that like, oh, it's broken or whatever, but a cool little trick you can do to make use of the game's pathfinding and add some interesting micro ability to the game. And so the Kubo does a bit of that pushing, fucks with these conscripts a bit, but the other 3 were able to get back there, and now the Fox Raiders were taking some pot shots. But and here we go, finally we have the flame car, and ripping pepperonis. Kubowagen, your time on this earth was brief but glorious. This shoutcast is being simultaneously live streamed on Twitch TV. Let's check in with the Twitch viewers in chat to see what they have to say about this exciting, flame-filled match. Nothing so far. Not a lot of Twitch viewers. I'm streaming on a Tuesday night, so there's not a lot of people in chat. And nobody follows me on Twitch, so if you're listening to this on YouTube, click on the Twitch link that is somewhere in the video description and follow me. Or don't. I honestly don't really care. But you can catch these things live. You can get your name in the shoutcast, like Green Cat of Meow, who says Tycho's cool. Great. Good to hear. That's the important thing. So we do have the medical supplies dropped by the Sturmpioneers. That paid off. That Chekhov's gun paid off. Oh, we didn't get time to look at the commanders before they picked them. Really nothing special here. If you watch my previous shoutcast, you saw Paul had pick precisely this, and J for Jett has picked Special Ops Doctrine, which is the least surprising of all OKW doctrines. I think if I had to pull a number out of my ass, I would say this is the most popular. I know that's not a number, but we can't always get everything that we want. Ah, check that out. It's fucking drifting around. Oh yeah. So these Sturmpioneers are about to be in a world of hurt. Nice ring around the rosy on the building, but they can't keep it up forever, and even 5 conscripts are going to be doing some damage. If you're sticking that close to the building, there's all these windows that they can fire out of. This is a very liberally endowed building when it comes to windows, and the conscripts can start stacking up some damage on the Sturmpioneers without having to take much in response, because although the Sturmpioneers are close up, which is a great place for automatic weapons to be when they're dumping damage into buildings, that's mitigated by the fact that they're doing the ring around the rosy and constantly moving, because you take the accuracy penalty when you're firing on the move, and that can chop down really on the advantage that you get for accuracy by being so close to the building, and it sort of resets to what it would be normally, which is not great because you're shooting at a building. A Shibboleth in Twitch chat said, I had no idea this game had a competitive community, so I'm just trying to keep up. Every game has a competitive community, right? What would be a game without a competitive community? Maybe War, that game that you play with cards where the winner is determined as soon as you deal the cards, and there's no point in playing, you might as well just have a robot play it for you. Green Cat of Meow says, what faction has the best frontline infantry? It's situational, but I guess up close, I think the shock troops have the highest DPS, plus the largest number of models and so on. At a distance, I think the Obersoldaten are the best fighters. The Fallschirmjägers can be pretty crazy, firing from ambush, and I think the Commandos are quite good up close too. Maybe even better than shock troops, but they're more fragile, so there's a lot of variables going on there. And of course the conscripts are the coolest. They're the bosses. But we don't have a lot of conscripts from Paul. We just have 3 conscripts into 2 guards rifle. Seems to be the build for Paul, although obviously last time we didn't have the clown car. This time we do have the clown car, so it's very different builds, even though on the surface they may appear similar. And we just have the 3 folks into... Did we lose a folk squad? I feel like we must have, because oh, we lost the Kubo wagon, obviously. What am I talking about? Someone tell me what I'm talking about. Don't do that. That's a rhetorical question. So these conscripts are going to melt very soon. I don't know, man. Those Sturmpioneers were taking some huge damage. Also, my game keeps fucking micro-pausing. If someone would explain what is going on, Relic, please. Anyways, we have a tech up to tier 2, or not to tier 2, to Panzer 2. Luke's. From what is tier 3, I guess, or tier 2, depending on how you count. Do you count this as 1, 2, 3, or you count this as 1, 2, 3, 4? That's one of those eternal questions in Company Heroes. Just like the Osthair, do you call Battle Phase 1 tier 2, or do you call Battle Phase 1 tier 1 and Battle Phase 0 tier 0? Very tough to decide. But now we have a Foxcruiser squad down. And OKW is really not in a great position. The Panzer 2 is going to come out, or it just came out. But it's going to be a little tough to get it going versus these Guards Rifle, both of which have DP27, so both of which can button the Panzer 2, which is going to be bad news. Do we have AT? So we don't have AT grenades upgraded for the conscripts or the Molotovs. So this is up. Just kidding. We got AT grenades upgraded just now. Or he's just got the munitions. No, they've been upgraded the whole time. We don't have Molotovs, but the AT grenade has been upgraded for a while. So I was about to say that's an interesting teching choice. Often you'll want the AT grenades to be able to snare people without having to rely on the button from the Guards Rifle. That's important both because the button doesn't take out the engine, so it's just a temporary solution. You got to kill it during the duration of the button or it'll just drive away. And also because you kind of don't want all your eggs in the Guards Rifle basket, because they're the ones who are supposed to be doing the damage to the Panzer II, which, as you can see, they're very effectively doing right here. But anyways, they're the ones supposed to be doing the damage to the Panzer II. You kind of don't want them also to be in charge of the buttoning, the immobilizing the tank to kill it, because if they get caught, like in a suppressing fire burst or something, that's it for your AT, whereas if your conscripts are the ones snaring, then maybe you can find some other way to get your guards rifle into the fight. So like if they're suppressed or something, then it's you still have time to get them unsuppressed because the conscripts are the ones taking out the engine, etc., etc. So I'm surprised that Panzer II made it out. We did have another folk squad go down over here on the right, so that's still looking pretty dire for the Germans. But with 2 Panzer IIs coming out and the Soviet player sort of just banking a lot of resources, not taking to anything, this will be a chance for the Germans to surge back onto the map in a sort of blitz and kill a lot of people. Of course, the Soviet will be able to effectively respond by just dumping a lot of their resources into whatever fancy thing it takes to respond, but still, that's the window for the Germans at this point. Let's see, Twitch chat says Solitaire isn't very competitive. It's the most competitive game because you can never win. A Shipless says, I know it's older, but World in Conflict kept my attention far better than Company of Heroes. This seems like it has a higher skill ceiling. Yeah, I never got into World in Conflict. I could never, I just, something about that game didn't do it for me. Hit the dirt. So this comes back, or this comes with this thing. Conscript Assault Tactics gives them hit the dirt. Somebody told me the other day that giving them PPSH just gives them hit the dirt. Clearly that's false. All you need is the ability that unlocks the PPSH without having to actually upgrade the PPSH. Then they get the hit the dirt. Does anyone remember back when hit the dirt used to be overpowered and it would make them invincible? Those were good times. I used to hit the dirt all the time back then. These days I don't hit the dirt ever. What was that Sturmpioneer doing hopping into that building? That was not what you want to be doing there at all. Anyways, we do have this Panzer II in commission. The Soviet player has now captured basically the entirety of the map excepting one of the VPs, so that does give the German a bit of time. But this other Panzer II has just been limping around the fucking backlines the whole time. It's so tough to repair these things as the OKW unless you drive back to base and then upgrade this stupid thing for 15 fuel at your headquarters is a new thing you have to do. You didn't always have to upgrade that. But since you're Sturmpioneers, you really want them to be in the fight because they're such effective fighters. It's kind of a pain to take the time out to repair something with the Sturmpioneer. So the lesson here is that there's kind of no good solution for the OKW anymore to repair their vehicles. We can all mourn the loss of the once free repairs at the skeleton truck. I call it a skeleton truck because it's got the skeleton of a truck. So can the German win? We did have the fuel dumped for the Soviets, taking up to tier 3 and then buying an Su-76. The Su-76 is going to be bad news bears for the Panzer II. It's got enough firepower to punch through the armor and make them really worry. They can hurt the Su-76, but not with these guards rifle around. So once the German player sees this Su-76, it's going to be back to the drawing board, I feel like. They don't really have a lot to do in the fight, except they can Faust with the Volksradiers and maybe try and bring the 2 Panzer IIs up into the fight versus the Su-76, and that's still pretty not a great plan. And the Su-76, luckily for the German player, was briefly barraging that building, so didn't get a chance to fire at the Panzer IIs until just now when the barrage was cancelled. It's very dangerous to be in this building because its health bar is very low. I feel like this is a building I very often see collapse with stuff in it, because maybe it looks deceptively sturdy. It's not sturdy. This health bar, when it goes down to 0, the building collapses and everybody dies. People don't seem to realize that as much as you might. Are we going to see a grenade from these guys? Yep. Called it. And nothing happens. Good micro from the German player J for Jett, who is again one of the top players in this game, and good micro from Hoypalad, avoiding that incendiary. Interesting hopping in and out of buildings, by the way, from the Soviet player. So I guess with the Panzer IIs scared off by the Su-76, the idea is to hop into the building and occupy it. The guards rifle will, of course, be able to fire on the Panzer II if it gets close, because they have a lot of sight. Having been in the building, if we turn on Fog of War, now we see that they have a very commanding view of the battlefield, able to see all the way down here about as far as the Panzer II can shoot in the first place. And of course, the Panzer II can only shoot if it sees you, so it's got to get pretty close, unless there's something else who can scout, like, for instance, this machine gun, which can't see anything because there's a shot blocker. Or this shot blocker is the sight blocker, I should say. Green Cat of Meow says maybe Germans should get an AT gun. Yeah, so it turns out the choice from the Germans is a Puma, which is kind of an AT gun on wheels, and the Puma is, I think, just the ticket. It's very mobile, so it's not going to have to worry too much about getting trapped by the guard's rifle on its own. Even if it gets buttoned, it can just quickly reverse out of that shit if it's at max range. Puma's a perfect choice for circle strafing. The Su-76, it punches through that armor real, no problem. I don't know what these guys' plans are. They're going to get bombarded close range, and we all know that can get ugly. Yeah, so they got to pull out of there ASAP. And here's the Puma coming in. Oh, we got a button. We got a button. Button, button, button. We're going to get some rear hits in on the Panzer II, and it just gets away. This hedge probably saving its life. How many kills does this machine gun have? Quick, before it dies. 1 kill and 1 vet. Ooh, got out. Did anybody see some glitch just now on my screen? I feel like I saw a glitch on my screen. Am I going crazy? I may be going crazy. The German player doing not a bad job clawing their way back into this map, into this match in terms of map control. A lot of Volksgrenadiers getting beat up, and the Puma has yet to get a chance to go into battle. It doesn't want to 1v1 these guards' rifle for good reason. It's going to fare slightly better than the Panzer II, but ultimately not very well. These conscripts being microed in a very interesting way, I suppose. I don't actually know what the plan was there. Maybe they were just heading off to that point to cap it, and then what Paul realized belatedly that there were Volksgrenadiers here and stopped moving. But I feel like Paul saw the Volksgrenadiers earlier and actually had those conscripts moving in a bespoke manner that suggests they were not earlier tasked with a mindless decision to walk halfway across the map. That did not take into consideration the Volksgrenadiers. It's a mystery, folks. If only we could read minds. If only we were like that mutant who can read minds. Wolverine. This MG34 has some range, guys. It's not going to be doing anything against that building, but... Well, wow. I lied. I think I just killed somebody. Who would have thought? Well, they did get out of the building, so technically I didn't lie. I said it wouldn't do anything against the building, and it didn't. They had to hop out of the building for it to do any damage. So I've never been wrong, and that's just another example of me never having been wrong. Very brave Panzer II. It's the front armor, but it can't really hold up against those things. So I don't know why. So where's the Puma? Yeah, what's the plan there? What's the plan there, Marianne? What's the that doesn't rhyme. What's the plan, Marianne? Puma really is the one who should have the job of firing at the church, because at least it'll knock off some of the health bar and maybe blow some holes open and kill some people inside. The Panzer II's got slightly less health, slightly less armor, and slightly less damage, and it's just really eating shit versus the guard's rifle. Let's check in with Twitch chat to see what sort of scintillating comments they have to add to this match that I'm pretty happy with so far. The back and forth has been pretty good. Also, there's a tank. BTW. Twitch chat says, how are command points earned? Green Cat of Meow. The main way you earn them are by killing things and by getting your units killed. Every time you kill something or a unit is killed, you get a big chunk of command points. Another way to earn them is just wait over time. It'll go up on its own. And then finally, by building buildings, you get a sort of big chunk of command points. So those are the 3 main ways. Aeon Sinzana stops by, says, I usually pick Guards Rifle combined on tactics over conscript support, like Pauled. Okay, so somebody's a fan of this doctrine. And A Shibboleth feels like says, I feel like Tycho's throwing shade on us. I actually wasn't. That was before I had read Twitch chat, so for all I knew, there could have been something scintillating in there. Somebody says that dude under the power pole is having a bad day. He's not having a bad day. He's waving. See? Hi. Hello. I am the German soldier who is finally out of the war. I just want to say hi to all the viewers at home. And, the rigor mortis has now set in. Oh, no. Oh, I'm okay. I should be watching the fight. But we'll keep an eye on him. Yeah, so I told you those buildings collapse. That was the... Maxim? No, that was the... It must have been a German... Somebody tell me what died there. I swear I was looking at the guy. But don't go in this building. I mean, not never go in the building, okay? It's a fine building in the early stages of the map, but I swear to God, I've seen more squads die in this building than almost any other building in Company Heroes 2, because it collapses, my friends. It collapses. All the buildings collapse, but that one, for some reason, it just collapses on people. So that was an interesting AT grenade. These guards are relatively close, but I feel like nowhere near close enough to kill this thing, and also there's a machine gun, which I now realize. So we don't have a retreat, we just have a soft retreat away from the machine gun. Paul's still probably hoping to go around this way and catch this thing that he's just snared with the AT grenade, but I don't know about the AT grenade. I guess, oh, he's going to catch it, of course, with the heavy armor. Why didn't I think about that? Is he? Is he? Yes or no? Will he? Won't he? Will he? Won't he? Yuck. Where is all the German fuel going to go? Are we waiting for a Panther command tank or something? What's going on? What's going on? This is bad news bears for the Germans. That's the end of the Puma. Yeah, that Puma really didn't do anything. I feel like it was highly underutilized. We saw the Panzer IIs trying to be hot shit long after the Puma came out, but frankly, that's when you sort of retire the Panzer IIs, sort of send them to the edges of the map, which is kind of what the Puma was being used for, but that's backwards. You send the Puma into the fray, start mixing it up with the Guards rifle with the Puma, and send the Panzer IIs around to the sides to annoy some infantry, if that. So anyways, this Panzer II was knocked out rather than destroyed, so probably the Soviet player is going to send some fucking conscripts to crew the thing, or even better, the combat engineers, because they can repair it, and you only need 2 people to hop in. That's very strange, I didn't know that. That seems overpowered for people stealing that thing. They're going to hop in? They're going to repair it first and hop in. That's the fucking Einstein level move for 2. Oh, Jesus, that was ugly. So the reason that there's 2 reasons that's an Einstein level move. The first reason it's an Einstein level move is because, of course, it's safer. You don't risk losing your infantry immediately when they hop in that thing. Oh, God! It's a strafes! It's a strafes, my friends. You don't risk losing your infantry immediately when they hop in that thing and then it gets killed. And the second reason it's an Einstein level move is that 4 engineers repair faster than 2 engineers. So you get it back in shape faster. We have the T-34. What is the German fuel going to be used for? What is this German fuel going to be used for? Somebody in Twitch chat saying penal is out. I didn't see any penal squads. Oh, Clown Car and Sniper are great, but penal is out. I think penal is out means maybe they're not in fashion anymore. Yeah, well, we didn't pay attention to this guy. Okay, that's the end for the Germans. I'm expecting a GG. Wow. Who predicted that? Tycho predicted that. Kala. Okay, so the lesson here is don't get in the house. If you tech to a Puma, which is really expensive, use the Puma. Somebody in chat had suggested, or Kettenverhers at the time the Puma came out. Yeah, that's the other option against the marauding clown car. And I feel like the Su-76. The Su-76. Yeah. So yeah, interesting teching choices and interesting underutilization of the Puma. And also the squad preservation turned out to be better for the Soviet player. So thanks for joining me in this match between 2 excellent players, and I'll see you on the flip side. Or not. You never know. One of us could perish.